Hi, everyone. Welcome to How to Give Constructive Feedback, experiencing intelligent breakthroughs in your sports performance and life. And I realize when I'm talking about this is not when we are on the sidelines of a football game or in the huddle of a basketball game, or obviously in tennis match, we can't say anything because no coaching is allowed. And then in other sports. So you're getting the idea. This is more about giving feedback, probably when we're evaluating how someone's doing, maybe on after a practice, before a practice, or after a week, each week, or a month, or a quarter, however you do it. But eventually you have those conversations where constructive feedback is needed. And so we need to know how to do it, because these are conversations beyond the conversations that we normally have with our athletes. And this is not only for athletes, but this is also for the coaches and coaches among coaches, as well as coaches to athletes and athletes to coaches. And it just really depends on your culture, on how you're currently doing it. But at least this will give you some insights and at least get you to think about your current process, or if you don't have a process, to implement this one. And the very first thing is to just ask the athlete, what can be better? What can be better? And then silence. And let the athlete talk. And when they talk, you really want to listen to understand. So you're paying attention not only to their words, but to their body language, to what you sense, and to the 5 W's and the H of the way that they're saying what they're saying and what you feel. All of these are critical because that's what listening is really about. And so listening is more than auditory. It's also visual. It's also sensing and feeling. It's also knowing what's happening in that person's life. It's also knowing what's happening in their athletic performance, what's coming up in the future, what happened in the past, those kind of things. And that way, what happens is after that second step of listen to understand, you go to the third step, and that is talk with each other to equip. This is not a time when you say, you are supposed to know that, or you don't know that. This is not a time for that, because those kind of phrases basically are chipping away at the athlete's confidence. You may have well intentions in saying that, but really what they're doing is they're chipping away at an athlete's confidence. And of course, we know, besides the competence and the health of an athlete, the well-being of one, it's their confidence that they have in their ability to perform, in their opportunities, and their ability to have aspirations to continue to pursue their dreams and their clear goals. That's what keeps an athlete going. And so as you do this, you really want to listen. And as you listen, and this could be active listening, it could be where you're just really letting the athlete just really equipping them with some ways, or your philosophy of getting them to perform at a little better towards their goals and towards the team's goals. And then also your goals for them, because you as an individual, obviously that relationship is very important, and they've got to have confidence in you as well, and you confidence in them. There's always that part of a relationship. And then you want to ask them, what do you need to learn to do? What do you need to learn to do? And really understand here, because this is where you can get some really major breakthroughs. Because a lot of times success is counterintuitive. It just is. It's not exactly as it looks when you really have a constructive feedback conversation. And then after they answer that question, tell them a new skill you want them to learn and give them the resources. What does this do? This gives them incentive. It gives them desire. It shows that you have confidence in them and that you want to continue to see them develop, build, and grow as an athlete. And you as a coach are putting in the skill for them to work on, to help them with that, and giving them the resources to do it. And so this gives them a dynamic to where, hey, we can really keep going forward. And I appreciate that versus them going back and thinking, golly, I really need to step it up, or they may start thinking, oh yeah, they're upset at me, or they might get down on themselves. I mean, a lot of athletes get a little depressed. So this is just ways to remedy all of that. Because look, if you're not having fun winning, and it's just all about winning and it's not fun, or it's all about fun and there's no winning, then you're not going to get as far as you'd like to get. And then lastly, the last step, step 5, is to pick a time in the future to reevaluate. Let's pick a time to reevaluate. Many of you know that I have a workbook, and it's a workbook that facilitates daily learning by the athlete or even by the coach. And it's one of those workbooks. It's simple to do. It really is. You really, really have everything in front of you. The only thing is are you doing it? And when you're doing it, are you doing it the right way? Are you feeling it when you're doing it? Are you being really good to yourself or better to yourself? And by doing it the right way, you'll create, sustain, and grow breakthroughs. And as you experience those breakthroughs, what happens with this particular workbook, my workbook, why I say it facilitates learning, is that those things that you're going through from a mental performance perspective and life perspective then become ingrained in your ability. So you don't have to think about them anymore. They're already there. They're already ingrained in you. And now you can start using some other ones. And then as you go along, you'll start to develop new ones. And so the most important thing I tell people with my workbook is use it as part of your pre-routine when you're just heading out to the event. If you prepare for an event an hour early, 2 hours early, whatever, just go ahead and fill out the workbook towards what it is your clear goal is for that event. And then upon completing it, especially on the days that you do perform in an event, you don't want to complete it right after the event because you need time to reflect on the event. You need time to wind down because you just now went at optimal capacity, hopefully the zone, and you did your best and you gave it your all, and you have a lot of confidence in your ability, and you know that you can do a little better or a lot better. I mean, that's always going to be like that. Hopefully you're always thinking you can do a little better or much better. And so it's important that you really complete that portion of the workbook probably after you come back. You've had time to relax, you've taken a shower, you're not all sweaty, etc., and you're just chilling, and go ahead and then complete it. And then that way you can be more reflective, you can use your judgment better, and you really give yourself time to solidify what was really, really important during that event, during your performance, and what really was something that you experienced that was a breakthrough. And of course, what are areas where you found it challenging or something that you didn't like that occurred. And believe me, the people that complete my workbook, they tell me that it just keeps me on point. Not only on point, but it realizes and helps me to realize that I do experience breakthroughs. they're not these huge, big breakthroughs, but in a way they are, because by doing those little breakthroughs at a time, if we're only focused on the results, well, yeah, those breakthroughs aren't going to come as fast. But as you focus on that process of breakthroughs and you're able to create more and better breakthroughs in the process of performing, then that's when you will start to see that the big results start to become easier to accomplish. And of course, they happen more frequently. And of course, it really gives you more incentive and desire and motivation, inspiration, intrinsic value to continue to want to do better, a little bit better every day. So that's what I have for you today. So are you better today than yesterday? Are you better today than yesterday? I hope you have a meaningful trigger for this evening. Of course, my meaningful trigger is watching the NBA playoffs. I've been saying that for a while, but I love this time of year because of the NBA playoffs, and it'll be a great game tonight. And I think it will go 7 games this series, and it'll be pretty amazing to watch. And although these individuals are performing in the zone many times and they have confidence, you can still see just watching them where they're making breakthroughs, and you can still see where they're challenged in some areas. And of course, that's going to happen when you have 5 other guys going against you that want to stop you from doing something that you want to do or need to do. And that always makes it interesting. They always make those slight adjustments, and so it'll be really amazing to see what these 2 teams are going to do now, because they all know basically what each other is wanting to do and what the strategy is. And now it's almost as if they've got to really bring out their gifts, talents, and skills to create that separation. And really, that's what I do, or help athletes and their teams and the coaches, is that I'm just a small part of helping to make you achieve or accomplish those clear goals, that vision you have for yourself. It's really your gifts, talents, and skills that are really of high value. I'm stimulating those to show you that you can go much further than you probably imagine. So that's what I have for you today. I'll see you next week on experiencing intelligent breakthroughs in your sports performance and life.